You were charging $250 for a session, and then you joined the Magnetize and Monetize Mastermind. What happened after that?
What happened is I wanted to be one of those people who come in and like, oh my gosh, the first week I sell like $15,000 and do all these epic testimonials. And I failed miserably, decided to drastically increase my rate and got 50 no's in a row because I was so determined I'm going to be this person. I'm going to power through it. And even though I was following checklists to a T and scripts to a T, why can I not close any of these calls? Mm-hmm. And then when I started getting the coaching with Juliana, I'm like, oh, because there's the feeling side and my body side, and like, oh, that's the side that needs a work, but that stuff's never on the checklist.
Welcome to Exposed, the show that gives you the raw truth about what it really takes to build a multi-million-dollar coaching business and a life that you're obsessed with. I'm your host, Juliana Garcia, marketing strategist and master coach. And after building a multi-million-dollar business from scratch, each week, I want to take you behind the scenes with actionable business strategies and profound mindset shifts to help you create wealth from the inside and out, so that you can become the exception to the rule in the coaching industry. I'm exposing the uncomfortable truths, the failures, and the topics that most podcasts don't dare to talk about. So let's dive into today's episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode. I have such a special guest with us today, my client, Angie, who I just literally cannot explain all the miracles this woman has created. But we're going to talk about today how she went from getting 15 no's in a row on sales calls. Imagine getting rejected by 50 people. And even though that happened, she was able to make in 4 months what she used to make in a whole year. This is like a trend with my clients. They end up collapsing the timeline of how long it takes for them to create results. So we're going to talk about all the things that she failed at, even after joining the mastermind, because I want to give you guys the scoop of what really, really happens inside of the program. I'm going to let her tell you her entire experience so that you can all learn how you can navigate your emotions, how you can navigate your sales, your marketing, and all the things that happen when we decide that we want to just elevate our business and go premium. So Angie's a financial coach for couples, and she specializes on money communication, is in money communication. Okay, Angie, so welcome to the podcast. Please introduce yourself and tell everyone who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name is Angie Carlson. I am a financial coach for couples, and I specialize in money communication so that these couples can experience less stress in their relationship while reaching that next life milestone with ease.
Amazing. Okay, so I want to know, where are you from? I want everyone to get to know you a little bit so that they see the variety of clients I have. So where are you from? Tell us a little bit about your family.
Sure. I was born in Muscatine, Iowa, and grew up on the family farm with my parents and younger sister. After college, I moved north, I don't know why, with winter, to a town called Dubuque, Iowa, and now I have lived here for nearly 22 years. Married to my husband, and we have 2 sons that are a freshman and a 5th grader.
I love that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, where were you at before we started working together? What was happening in your business? How did you even become a financial coach? How did that happen?
I'll start with how I became a financial coach. And in 2019, I actually had a near-death experience where my gallbladder was actually failing, but it was misdiagnosed as my severe scoliosis because they present the same symptoms. And so I was being sent to PT, which does nothing to help with the failing gallbladder. And it didn't get caught till I was in organ shutdown and septic. And so they told my husband, and at the time our boys were in 4th grade and kindergarten, so they were very young, that, hey, you have 50-50 odds of becoming a single dad.
Wow.
And yeah. And so I was laying there. It happened Labor Day weekend in 2019, and I couldn't eat or drink anything for like 5.5 days. And I have like zero desire to do anything. Your brain goes very dark when you have that. And the thought that I kept having was, Angie, you could have helped all these people and you were basically too chicken to go for it. You could have had such a greater impact and you didn't step into your purpose. And I was like, if I survive this, I don't know how or when or even becoming a financial coach looks like, but I'm going to figure it out and do it. And I'm going to do what it takes.
Oh my God. I understand the feeling. I remember when I was diagnosed with scoliosis and they told me that I was going to be in a wheelchair by 28. What that does to you is it opens up your eyes to not waste any time with fear, doubt, for majority, for a little bit. At least it gives you more courage to do the things that you know you want to do before you maybe cannot because you're limited by your body or you literally like have left the world. So that's so incredible that you were able to use that as your fuel. So how did that take you to become a financial coach?
Yeah, it still took me a year before I even took the training because I just was researching and figuring it out. And then I took my financial coaching training at the end of 2020 and I started in 2021. And at the time I was working a 9 to 5 job. I'd given them a 10-year commitment and I wanted to keep my word. And that commitment was up in April 2022. So I was like, you know what? We're leaving this job no matter what happens to make a go for it. And little did I know on the last day of my job, I had made a whopping $320 as a coach, walked out of my director level job and was like, let's go.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love that. Okay, and so what happened next?
What happened next is, well, my whole family got COVID right after I left my job. My husband was a temp worker, so we had no health insurance for that month.
Oh,
And I just given up our income. And then the next month, I learned pretty quickly, like, if I don't have leads, this business isn't going to happen. So I didn't see how this dream was going to happen without having leads. So I had just heard of you at that point, but I didn't have any clients for my program. I could tell I was not ready to work with you. So I worked with a different coach on consistency, lead generation, showing up. And then I was starting to get clients and they were converting. I was getting testimonials, still staying in your world, going to all your free training, anything I could get your hands on, Exposure True Challenge,
yes,
did it all.
Angie is one of those clients that she took her time to join. Do you wish you had done it earlier or you are happy with the time that you did it?
I wish I would have done it so much earlier. I could be a year further along by now.
Because all those things you hire a coach for, I help with. But it's all perfect and it's in the perfect timing. Okay, so you were getting some leads. How much were you charging at the time?
It was like $250 a session.
And how much do you charge now, just so that people know?
I charge $7,500 for my pay in full package, which is 6 months.
Wow. Wow, the shift. So we're going to tell you guys how she went from $250 a session to selling $7,500 packages. Why do you think that you were hesitant to invest in yourself in join the Magnetize and Monetize Mastermind?
Great question. I was always financially responsible and I had to really work through, am I really going to give this person that I'm going to her challenges, doing all her things? And I was seeing results. I mean, I doubled my client load with the Exposure True Challenge. So I was seeing results from your free stuff. And the part of me was like, she's a stranger on the internet and I want to give her 5 figures. Like, who does that?
Exactly. Who does that? And did you tell your husband about it? Or you were just considering it on your own?
Oh, he was so tired of hearing about you. Then when the money showed up in the world, he was like, just invest with her already. Like, tired of you talking about how great this woman is. Like, just work with her. So when that money came in, we were like, yep, that's the sign. Let's apply. Let's pay in full. Let's go.
Okay, incredible. For people who are waiting for the money to land in their account and they are going to wait like you did, let me just wait. With the wisdom that you have now, standing where you are today, and the transformation that you have gone through and continue to go through, what would you say to them?
I would say to them, the money is always available if you know where to look for it. And that's one of the things now I'm teaching my clients in my work because they have that belief that I had. But since I was able to overcome it and really see where the money was, it has helped me so much with money objections on my calls because I now can see where the money's hiding in plain sight.
And that's actually what you teach. Like, guys, she has a training on how to find $10,000 that you don't know where they are. And that's actually so fascinating that you're telling the story because you're so right. The money's always there. And it is interesting that now that you've gone through that experience, you can, with full integrity and full embodiment, help people find $10,000. This, by the way, is in no relation to the Magnetize and Monetize Mastermind. This is so funny that I'm just realizing that now. But anyway, so you were charging $250 for a session And then you joined the Magnetize and Monetize Mastermind. What happened after that?
What happened is I wanted to be one of those people who come in and like, oh my gosh, the first week I sell like $15,000 and do all these epic testimonials. And I failed miserably, decided to drastically increase my rate and got 50 no's in a row because I was so determined I'm going to be this person. I'm going to power through it. And even though I was following checklists to a T and scripts to a T, like, why can I not close any of these calls?
Mm-hmm.
And then when I started getting the coaching with Juliana, I'm like, oh, because there's the feeling side and my body side, and like, oh, that's the side that needs a work, but that stuff's never on the checklist.
This is so beautiful that you say that because so many clients join and they want to be a testimonial. They want to be a superstar. And I always tell them, don't put that pressure on yourself. Like you have nothing to prove. There's nothing to prove. In fact, the people that end up doing that, they just don't try. They're just really just going with the flow. But it is fascinating that you talk about really radically raising your prices because what happens is people maybe listen to me, my trainings, and they go to the free stuff, which is fine. And some of it, I mean, might totally work like it did for you and it does for so many of my clients. But sometimes what happens is they elevate their price too far high where their body's not emotionally receptive or available to receive that. And so you're going to get a lot of no's if your price isn't correctly aligned and precisely chosen for where you're at in your emotional capacity to receive, which is why you join, I think, in like 5 months before we started. You were like an early bird. And at the time, I wasn't offering the momentum mastermind bonus that I offer now. You raise your prices from $250 per session to $5,000. And you were getting you got 50 no's in a row.
50 no's in a row on a 5K package. It was so demoralizing.
Tell us about what it feels like to be rejected 50 times. And you paid for these $10,000. So I know so many people will be like, this doesn't work. This is bullshit. What is your mentality? Because this is obviously, there's some codes in there in your mentality. So how did you not give up?
Well, one, I didn't give up because I had paid 5 figures to join your world. So I'm sitting here going, it's on me to make my money back. And after 50 no's in a row, I mean, even at 10 or 15 no's, the problem's clearly me. So there's something I need to clean up to get that result. And so I was really open to receiving the coaching on that as well, even though there was a lot of stuff I did not want to hear. Juliana told me that the energetics coach Amanda told me, and I'm glad that they said it because it was from a place of love. They were saying it to make me better. And it was great having their guidance to implement it because this whole world of like paying attention to my body, paying attention to my feelings, like it was like a whole new world to me.
It really was. Like your mind was definitely active. You're very logical. Let's make it happen with a checklist person. You follow processes. But what was happening for you was like it was not landing in your reality because you weren't allowing your body to process so much emotion from the past, from the present, from what had, like there's so much that we process. And I just want you in your words to kind of share with people what that's like. How is that? Because they're like, wait, feelings, money, how does that connect?
Yeah. And that has been one of the biggest gaps that I have seen in the financial services sector because there's so many times that we ignore our intuition when it comes to money. Like, you know, we just feel like something's off, but then we look at the numbers on paper and we're like, well, the numbers add up. Everything looks great. It must be good. And then like people would make a decision and on paper, the outcome looked great. In reality was totally not what they wanted, which made their intuition correct. And so how are we not putting some of this into the financial world, especially when you talk to couples, very stereotypical here. Typically the male will want to do these things and start this business. And the wife gets like this lump in her throat, pit in her stomach. And it's just like, don't do it, don't do it. And they struggle to have the words to communicate that because for me, with it being a feeling, it's like, okay, but what does that mean? And the answer to that was like, well, I don't know. I just feel like something's wrong and I can't really communicate it. And so that's where working with you has been so good for my marriage, which was a totally unexpected bonus of my husband's more the feeler and I'm more the logical one. But for me to tap into the emotional side of me, my husband's like, oh my gosh, our conversations are better. I'm like, I know what took us months to work through now takes us minutes. It's wild.
God. this is one of the side effects of joining the Magnetize and Monetize Mastermind. Like, so many people get new partners, elevate their marriages, leave partnerships that are no longer aligned. I mean, it's just everything really elevates. So I'm loving that you're sharing about that. And okay, so what happened after we worked together? Because, you made in 4 months what you used to make in a year. What, by the way, how much did you make in 4 months?
I made, let's see, it's 32,000 in 4 months, and I had made 31,000 the year before. And now I've nearly doubled that so far.
So at this point in the year, you have basically made as much money as you made in the previous year. So
way more.
Way more. Okay. Amazing. And let's talk about when you got all those no's, what the coaching did I give you? What did we do?
When we did all those no's, I remember one of the phrases that you've said to me, which I'd heard you say it before, but it landed in a different way, was protect your confidence at all cost.
Yes.
And after 50 no's in a row, my confidence was shot.
Yeah.
And so I actually lowered my rate back down because I was just needed a yes. I needed to know I could get another client. I needed to coach. And I went down for one client, but then steadily increased back up to 5K. And now I'm closing at 7,500. And so for me, that was where the working with my feelings and my body, that was the side of me that really needed the elevation. But I just didn't know that was it. I was just like, I'm following a checklist and have no idea why it's not happening.
Right. Amazing. So here's something that I want everyone to really notice about this. It's not about raising your prices. That is the solution. I talk a lot about raising your prices, but what it's really about is finding the right price for you. A lot of clients join my program and I'm like, don't raise your price. In fact, week 2, we talk about milestone pricing versus momentum pricing, and we talk about what the best price is for you. So when you get into the container and when I'm able to coach you and I'm able to understand where are you at emotionally in your emotional capacity, then we're able to adjust what's best for you, or you're also going to be able to adjust what's best for you. Because I'm never going to tell you what to charge. All my clients decide on their prices at all times, and then we coach on their decision. And sounds like for you, let me go back to momentum pricing versus milestone pricing, which is a concept that I teach. And then now you're going up to $7,500 per client. So I want to ask you a question about selling a $7,500 offer. How much different does it feel to sell that versus your $250 session?
Great question. The selling of the offers is really the same. The difference is in how I show up for trying to close a client at $250 a session versus closing a client at $7,500. Because when I'm working with the client at the $7,500, if we need, let's say our conversation runs an hour and we need longer, my attitude towards scheduling a second call is much different than when I was at $250 a month. My ability, if something comes up, to cover it, I feel really great covering it at no cost. At $250 a session, I'd want to send a bill, an invoice, and like they're struggling with their money. Now I'm sending them a bill. I was wrestling with all of that internally. That didn't feel really good. And just notice the more that I elevate, not only do I show up at a different, higher level, my clients do too. And my client transformations at that level are wild.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And let me ask you a question. Did you have to like grow your audience to find a completely new, different audience? Or were these the same leads that were coming in?
These were the same leads that were coming in from sources that I've already had.
This is just amazing because I just want people to know they think I need to build some kind of wild audience with premium clients that I don't even know where they are. And the thing that I always teach is premium clients are everywhere. You're just not speaking to them. And when you joined, I remember you were speaking to a victimized, like a person who felt victimized by their finances. And now, even though you're still helping them with their finances, you're speaking to a different version of them. It can be the same person, but a different caliber of them, different version of them. And they're showing up in your reality in that way. So everyone who's listening, you don't need to grow your audience in order to attract premium clients. I mean, we do that. We expose you to a bigger audience and your visibility gets increased, but it's not the secret. Leads are not the problem. The problem is how you communicate the value of what you do and how you show up in it. Would you agree?
I absolutely would. And that was one of the reasons that brought me to you is in the financial space, I noticed there was such a gap in communicating because it's like, let me give you a spreadsheet. Let me show you all these returns and all these numbers. And there was like no communication side to all that because I mean, those numbers on paper look great, but what's the rest of your life like? I mean, do we want to keep working 16-hour days, 7 days a week
Right.
to have a multi-million-dollar net worth that we never get to enjoy? Like, I just was seeing all these gaps in the financial sector. So when I stumbled on you, I was like, I wonder if I can be the person that can start communicating all this in a way that's very aligned, very ethical, and just showing that these gaps on a new level. And when I started working with you, then I had other coaches that do what I do that are like, holy crap, who are you working with? And now some of them have joined your world too.
Yeah. 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 It's the secret to really be somebody who stands out in a saturated market, because people think that it's easier to make money when you're a business coach or a financial coach or marketing coach. The reality is that that world is even more saturated than any of the other niches. Everyone wants to be a business coach when they can be a life coach and they don't believe in themselves as a life coach. They're like, okay, let me help you with your business because surely that's what you value, right? And it just couldn't be further from the truth. We sell what we believe in. So if you're not selling, you're just not believing in it. You haven't found all the reasons why is the best thing for you, for your clients. And it's so beautiful to hear you say that other coaches in your same industry are noticing you and seeing you and just admiring your radiance, because you really have a different energy around you. Like, can we talk about what happened in the previous, like recently you went to an event?
Yeah, I went to an event and they took an updated headshot, which was just part of the ticket. And I got my headshot back and I am like obsessed with it. The energy just jumps off the picture. And I was like, wow. And at the time, I had so much stuff in my head, like just inner turmoil and thoughts and doubts and imposter syndrome because I'm going to this conference and all these people are coming up to me and like congratulating me, excited to meet me. And I'm sitting here going, I'm like, holy crap, what if I get 50 no's in a row again? And just had all these doubts and stuff start coming up. And despite all of that crap in my head, I was like, wow, I took an epic picture. And that was just like the culmination of everything that's I've been working on. It's like, oh, that's the visual I wanted all along that I didn't know I wanted.
Yeah, it really just showed just your transformation. Like, it was captured so beautifully. And I remember you telling me that people were coming up to you and just saying how much they just look up to you. And it's just so beautiful to know that the work that you did wasn't based on, let me teach you this. I mean, everything we did, you've implemented, right? Like, we've implemented the practical aspects of what I teach, but also the work internally is really what I believe has created the biggest transformation for you to not only be selling at the price that you thought was like even above what you thought you could sell, but also be an example for other people. Like, literally people come, even people in the program come to you and they're like, Angie, I'm like, Angie knows where the modules are. Ask her for everything. She has everything. Actually, let's talk a little bit about that, because so many of my clients don't even look at the modules and they still get amazing results. You went the opposite direction, didn't you?
Right.
Like, there's this one task I give my clients to write 300 reasons why your program is the best thing for your clients. I think you're the only person who has completed the 300. Actually, there's one more who was inspired by you recently who completed it. But this is like, I just want to really give you all the props, because you didn't just join and hoped that I would get you a result. If anyone's listening and you just expect me to get you a result, this is not for you. I'm going to give you the tools and I'm going to give you the coaching because I want you to be able to repeat your results. And if the results depend on me, then we're going to be codependent forever. And that's not the caliber of relationship that is most empowering for any of my clients. But you really showed up and said, I'm going to get what I came for. And you just kept on elevating and creating miracles. And you're such an example of what's possible for so many, including my clients. It's just so beautiful to see it transform. Okay, so let's just really be super transparent for people to know that even when you're creating amazing, huge results, there's still something that we all deal with. And so tell us a little bit about what that has been for you.
Yeah, for me, it's been my head and all the thoughts that are in my head, like just all the times I don't feel like I'm worth it. I don't feel like I deserve it. Holy crap, this big door opened and God, you want me to walk through that door? Like just all these things going on. And I'm still living like a normal life. Like This morning, I took my kid off to his first day of high school. I'm recording on Juliana's podcast, and I'm sitting here going, all this stuff is all my life now. It's weird because I feel like there's part of me still like, living the life I've always lived, but my life has elevated so much too. That's like, okay, now this is like a new reality. Like all these future things are now showing up in my current reality. And I'm like, oh, okay, now how do I manage this level and get it here? Or, okay, I had maybe this I tried and didn't go as well. This I tried and wow, it worked way better than I thought. And just all those thoughts going through my head all the time too is just like, it feels like it's nonstop. But as I elevate, this is all the work I need to do because this stuff is just going to continue. I mean, the doubts don't go away just because you elevate. New ones come. They'd be like, oh, I thought, once I get rid of the doubt, it's going to be done forever. No, false.
Yes. Okay. And so what did you do about that? Because our journey didn't end at Magnetize. You continued, right?
Yes, I continued.
Why did you make that decision?
Because Magnetize, everything was trending up and I had never really been slingshotted down. And I knew with everything you taught, all the powerful thoughts in the world, all the energetic work, reality is just going to mean I'm going to go back at some point, which has happened since I've been in momentum. And I didn't want to know how to handle the up without handling the down because everything is a spiral and we always want to be spiraling up. We want to be trending up. But if I can't handle one side of the trend,
exactly,
that is going to keep me playing small.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing about, having support that people get big results in Magnetize. And then in momentum, we sustain them. And we learn to navigate the times when results are not there and how to sustain our confidence, how to sustain our belief, and how to make that mean nothing about our future. So just for everyone who's listening, just know that even if you work through something already and you feel like, I've already gone through this. Like Angie comes to call sometimes and she's like, I thought this was gone. I thought we already had talked about this. I'm like, I know, but you are at a new level. And so it's coming in a new angle. We have to dissect it in a different way. And the things are always the same. They just happen at different levels. And so when we think, because I've already experienced doubt or failure or whatever, I will know how to do it next time and how to navigate it. But the reality is that it's a different flavor and it literally feels like a brand new dish. That's like, I've never eaten this before, so I don't even know how to hold the chopsticks. I really, truly I'm such a believer in having that level of support, especially when things are going well. It's so important. It's so, so, so important. So Angie, anything else that you want to share with anyone who's listening to this and who wants to join the Magnetize and Monetize Mastermind?
Yeah. If you're on the fence about joining Magnetize and Monetize, get off the fence and just do it because you're going to keep thinking all the reasons you should do it and just keep getting drawn in. Just jump, go for it. And the reason I say that is I could have started experiencing these amazing results a year earlier and I let my doubt stop me. And I let the money stop me instead of being like, I'm going to find a way to make this work. I trust myself. I trust my skill set as a financial coach to know that my ability is my skill set, not my bank balance. And if I don't have the skills to recreate the bank balance, then why do I focus on it?
Exactly.
And so shifting that has been huge as I've elevated into the journey because I did not plan on continuing in momentum originally. But then when Juliana made me the offer, I was like, well, I'd be crazy if I don't figure out how to do this. And I think within 24 hours of your offer, I was in momentum. I didn't take any time the next time around. I learned that lesson.
You made your money back in a month, 2 weeks, 2 months or something?
Yeah, I made it back in a little over 2 months. Yeah. And I had never made that much money back that fast in my life. I was like, holy crap. And so I've learned as I step into the elevation, the results always come. And as long as I am not it's like, okay, I might feel like I need a client, but one of my coaching friends said, you don't need that client. And so we're just always elevating on the journey and looking forward and just being like, my results are going to come how they come. The people are going to come how they come. If I go on a sales call and they're no, it's not the end of the world. It's all going to work out because I have multiple paths to reach my goals and I'm not going to pigeonhole myself into one.
Exactly. Oh my God. Mic drop moment. Amazing, Angie. Thank you so much for being here. I am just so proud of you. I believe so deeply in you and your growth. And I'm just so honored that I get to be in your corner. Thank you for being such an amazing example of what's possible. So for everyone who's listening, really feel into your heart. Is this the kind of support that I want to receive? And if the answer is a yes, make sure that you go ahead and apply. We start September 30th. Oh my God, I can't remember exactly the date. But don't wait to apply, because the faster you apply, then the faster you join. You'll be with Angie in the same room getting coached on what she's getting coached inside of the Momentum Mastermind, because you get that as a bonus. So make sure that you claim that. And Angie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Juliana.
Of course. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Look, I'm going to be honest. I never like leaving reviews or sharing episodes unless it's something that really moved me. So if this show resonated with you today, please leave a review. It would mean the world to me. And send it to somebody who really wants to know the raw, exposed truth about what it really takes to create $1 million business and a delicious life. And as a thank you, I'm gifting you a free mini course about the 3 mistakes that coaches make that repel premium clients and how to fix it so that you can start attracting clients now. Check out the show notes to access it, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.